Hey friends, in yesterday's video I hit you with my endgame Titan PvP build. A couple weeks earlier I showed you my Warlock endgame PvP build, and now today, my Hunter endgame PvP build. What's this? 1 hour remaining on the subathon clock yet again, and maybe gracious viewers will extend that all the way to a full 11-hour shift at twitch.tv/camicakes again for the second day in a row. We actually hit the cosplay goal, which means I'll put a Twitter poll, and I'll also link it on the YouTube and whatnot, of me choosing between Summer Santa, a clown, lumberjack, and a Catboy maid. Don't know what it could be, but at $16.90 I get 2 Fortnite and 2 Pokemon Fire Red streams, so if you're interested in either of those games and seeing me play it, perhaps that's something worth gifting subs for. Otherwise, I just appreciate your viewership. Thank you so much. It all starts with Frosties. And yes, these did get nerfed, thankfully. It was so annoying in PvP to play optimally. Before I peaked this, it was optimal to do this. Or run into a wall. And that's just not entertaining for me. That's not entertaining for viewers. It's annoying. You might say the fact that it's annoying balances out, but I strongly disagree. However, the cryo set bonus, armor set bonus, seems to fix this problem. Because after being out of combat for a moderate duration, slowly gain frost armor until you re-enter combat. To put that simply, on a basic respawn in a high intensity action mode, by just running to the combat, I would end up with frost armor times 3 at the least, but most of the time I get frost armor 4 or frost armor 5 before the first gunfight. Now what exactly does that mean? Well, it means that I can have 120 weapon stat with the B7 pistol with the overclocked heatsink, and as long as I have any stacks of frost armor, I essentially get a stasis weapon surge for free, which allows my 180 RPM hand cannon to 3-tap. The problem is, once I get into combat, I start losing the frost armor stacks. So to combat this, I use 1 stasis weapon surge on my boots, so that way when combat ends, I still am able to 3-tap during the interim period. And of course, the 2 set bonus from the cryo armor makes an orb of power for essentially just playing the game. So it works perfectly in harmony. Now, since I have made this build and saved it, I discovered that double dynamo does in fact work, so that's definitely what I'm running. As many orbs as I can make, the better. You might say, oh, a stasis siphon, that's a little rich considering you make an orb. That's not going to happen on good players. Except with the B7 pistol, it absolutely does, because Firefly does not care about the archetype. It just cares that it's a hand cannon, does the same amount of damage, which takes off 1 bullet from the time to kill. And in revive game modes like Collision, I pick up multi-kills all the time with this. I was initially disappointed that I didn't land the handling perk on this left column, but I ended up loving Firefly, and I'm honestly not going back. Yes, you could also go headstone on the right column to stack even more crowd control, but I find Firefly is the perfect amount to get a 2-tap follow-up. Build to Blast is the perk I go on the right column, which gives you aim assist stability and most importantly, flinch resistance for having frost armor. So this is just one of many builds that I have that utilize this combo. Just in case you wanted to know the fragments and aspects, I go Vanishing Step and On the Prowl. Just classic combo. Persistence, Vigilance, Starvation, Dilation, and this is a new one, Harvest. And my reasoning is, if I play with a Voidwalker teammate and the enemy is sitting in the Void Soul and I pick up the kill, or if they're sitting in the Smoke Cloud from On the Prowl and I pick up the kill, an orb pinata happens. Sometimes I get a kill or a double kill and I see 4 or 5 orbs on the floor from everything happening, which yes, feeds into my super. You might be wondering, how do you get 120 weapons and 175 health? I can't have 180 if I had absolutely perfect armor. The answer is Powerhouse and Bulwark. Pretty much that the whole way through. So let's look at my other builds, and then I'll go back to showing you my special weapons. So this is the same build, but with a different Discord shotgun. I can also use the Cade Sniper and cycle it twice a competitive game. And 6 extra snipe bullets in a comp match absolutely matter, though Cloud Strike is still very good, so I cycle between both. Then if I play a Weave Walker, I use conditional finality with Moss Athenor with 110 weapons to guarantee the 2-tap. This is mostly for 6s or a long range map, but Hailing Confusion with Kill Clip is amazing. You need 145 weapons for it to neutral 2-tap with the single stack of Frost Armor. The next build is experimental, but I kind of like it. You have 150 class, so if you dodge before the gunfight while having all your Frost Armor stacks, it causes a 120 hand cannon without precision instrument to have to hit an extra headshot. So a 4-tap kill. That's why I run this. I also run Kill Clip, which with one surge does 2-tap. And then sometimes I have a second hand cannon in my inventory with Binary Orbit, which also 2-taps after a special weapon kill. Sometimes I'll also switch to the hand cannon in competitive because there's nothing stopping me. And I'll use my Spectral Blades, get a kill, and then Binary Orbit also procs, which allows me to 2-tap after exiting my super. Same concept, Cloud Strike. This is my mirror match loadout. It does not use a stasis weapon. Instead, it's Rufus Fury with Slice and Aggregate Charge to get a faster time to kill with Slice, and then if I proc on the prowl and they sit in the smoke, this thing feels like a near instant time to kill. It's crazy. But I run this for people who copy my build and run the B7 pistol. As long as I tap them up with Slice, they can no longer 3-tap me with the B7 pistol, which means I win on the time to kill. I play this like a pseudo SMG playstyle. And then when you combine the class ability, Overshield, ain't nobody hitting their time to kill on me, especially with the Frost Armor. And then finally, another experimental build. This is the Glaive setup, which allows me to do hand cannon sniper and not feel like a total disadvantage when playing good shotgunners. I still get my 2-tap kill clip, I still get my super killer sniper, but when in doubt, I can do my invis, crouch off the radar, and then catch somebody with a 2-tap from the Glaive. So that covers my endgame Hunter PvP build. I could realistically see myself extending this same build another row, and then my final builds will be limited to just fun PvP stuff, like the off-radar armor from Trials with the last word. In a year's time, I anticipate more people switching to this Frosty build just because it's so good, to a point where I could see Bungie disabling this 4-piece armor set. But right now, we're in a honeymoon period, so I'll enjoy using my last word in a competitive environment while I still can. Otherwise, friends, don't forget the subathon is still going on. I had 1 hour remaining yesterday, and they managed to extend it to a full 11-hour shift with 1 hour remaining on the clock, which brings us to today. So maybe that happens again, and I stream a whole shift. Maybe it doesn't, and I immediately switch to RuneScape. We'll see, but I appreciate you. Thanks for listening to the video. I hope you get to your destination safely. Take care.